Welcome back to the Arizona Daily Mix. It's shocking that more than 560,000 Americans have died from the coronavirus. So while the push to get people vaccinated is a national priority, another critical need is to find new treatments for the virus. And joining us today with an update on current and some new COVID-19 treatment options is Dr. Cameron Durant. Good morning, doctor. How are you?
I'm great, Brad. Thank you so much for having me on the show today.
Well, you are very important to a lot of people out there, especially with these updates. Can you tell me a little about the updates that are going on?
Yes, Brad. So Humanigen, which is the company that I'm fortunate to be a part of, has been developing a biologic treatment for COVID called Lenzilumab. Lenzilumab has been studied in a phase 3 study in 520 patients. And just this morning, there was a publication which speaks to the results from that particular study. And what we found is in patients who are hospitalized with COVID-19 that require supplemental oxygen, and that's about 90% of the people who are hospitalized, the treatment with Lenzilumab, over and above treatment with remdesivir and steroids, led to between 54 and 90% reduction in the risk of needing to be ventilated or dying. And so we think that that's a very meaningful statistic. And Brad, it's also important to recognize that today in the United States, there are 200 new patients being hospitalized every hour. That's one new patient every 18 seconds. In India, it's 17,000 new infections an hour. So we're still in the eye of the storm as it relates to the pandemic.
Wow, I'll tell you, hearing those numbers and hearing what's going on, it's amazing. So let's talk about how do these antibiotics work? How does this go about?
So Lenzilumab mops up or neutralizes a particular substance that's triggered by the virus. It's actually triggered by a number of other conditions too, but it leads to an overwhelming inflammation. That inflammatory state is called cytokine storm. So what Lenzilumab does is tries to nip in the bud the causation of cytokine storm. And it's that storm that leads to the overwhelming inflammation that affects the lungs and other body systems that sometimes means, unfortunately, patients need to be on a ventilator and occasionally worse.
Wow, okay. I mean, we have a treatment, so why are we, in a vaccine, why are we worried about the treatment so much?
Well, vaccines don't treat, they prevent. And not everyone can get the vaccine. We've seen the vaccine uptake stall somewhat in the United States, and in many countries, the vaccine is not available at all. The virus doesn't respect national borders. So we do need to encourage people to get vaccinated, but alongside that, we also need to have treatments as a safety net, if you will, for those patients who just can't get vaccinated or the vaccine starts to erode in terms of the protection that it affords. And Brad, a useful place for people to get more information is our website, humanigen.com, humanigen.com.
Doctor, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for bringing this to our forefront on getting treatment for the COVID-19. So thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on today, Brad.